Alright guys, what is going on? BusterBarnes here, bringing you my match recap / review of Chelsea's 2-0 win away at St James's Park against Newcastle. An improvement from last season where we did lose 1-0, now winning 2-0. We are going on that roll of improving our fixtures based on last season, and that's a good sign from the Blues. I'll be going through all of the key moments of the game, showing you guys the lineup, giving you guys my player ratings as always, and hitting you with my points for the player of the season points scoring system, where we'll be giving some players points that will tally up towards the end of the season for us to make our decision. But if you guys do enjoy these videos, please be sure to leave a like, comment down below your player ratings and what you thought of the match in general, and as always do subscribe for more Chelsea FC content. Alright, so getting into the match, we did see a 4-3-3. Actually saw Kovacic and Mount in the midfield. If you guys saw my preview, I did predict to maybe see either or with Havertz back in the team. But I guess with Havertz, you know, out of the team for 2 weeks with COVID, not training regularly, maybe he wasn't deemed fit enough to start. Wasn't actually on the bench either. I'm sure we'll probably see him against Rennes, so not too much to worry about. But we did see Mount and Kovacic, pretty much I believe the same team that started against Sheffield United, apart from Rudiger was in for Thiago Silva, who obviously Lampard already said was not ready to play. But as the game got kicked off, pretty much, or I should say throughout the entire game, was mainly dominant with us, as people would expect. A lot of possession for us, a lot of recycling the play. When we did lose the ball, we won it back very quickly, and it didn't actually take too long for us to score our first goal, or should I say for Newcastle to score our first goal, as Mount did cross the ball into the box, and it bounced off, I believe, Fernandez's feet, and it did end up in the back of the net. Just sort of got his couldn't get his feet out from under him. There was a bit of a little controversy on whether Chilwell pushed him, and that was what caused the ball to go into the back of the net. But when you see the replay, you saw that the contact Chilwell made was after he'd already kicked the ball into the net anyway. So decent, dangerous ball from Mount, and that was 1-0. And from then on, it was still us dominating the game. Newcastle obviously had to open up a little bit more. They did have to try and make some attacks. They had maybe 1 or 2 good attacks in the game, mainly coming through St Maximin, who did look very scary at stages when he did have the ball, but luckily we did manage to defend well enough to keep him at bay. The second goal did not come until the second half, where Timo Werner made a really nice run. He got the ball from about the halfway line, dribbled through and just kept running, and actually weaved in between 2 Newcastle players to do a nice little free pass to Abraham, and an immaculate finish off the post and in by Tammy. Really happy to see him continue his form, his scoring form, or just his goal contribution form in general. I think a lot of people were sleeping on him, you know, at the start of the season, thinking, oh, he's not going to have a good year, oh, he may as well leave Chelsea. But I mean, he's showing now why he belongs in the team and why he's a really key asset to the club. And I mean, Timo Werner, he also had a few other moments to score. There was one moment where he really should have put the ball in the back of the net. It was, I believe, when we were 1-0 up, and he was basically one-on-one against the goalkeeper. It was really set up nicely for him. He did all the work himself. He does some really good dribbles, makes some really good runs, but his finishing maybe just wasn't completely there today. But like I said, he still got an assist, so still did have some important things to do. We did see Emerson, Callum Hudson-Odoi and Giroud come on later, and yeah, they had decent performances, not really too much to do when the game was pretty much done and dusted at 2-0. Newcastle really not looking that great at all, really didn't provide anything. I do think Callum Wilson was a bit of a miss, you know, he does like to turn up against us, so that was maybe a good thing for us as well. But yeah, I mean, 3 points, guys, an improvement on last season. It's what you like to see. No injuries either. So I think that we can say this was a very successful outing against Newcastle. And I think Lampard's really showing how he's improved in a lot of aspects. Obviously, defensively, we're keeping, I believe we're joint top in clean sheets kept with 4 so far in the season. Mendy obviously providing a lot in that. And I mean, even with Thiago Silva out of the team, we're still doing well with Rudiger and Zuma. I've always thought they were a decent partnership. I think that Rudiger gets a little bit more stick than he deserves. I'm not saying he should start for us, or, you know, and I still prefer to see Tomori over him, but I do think he gets a little bit more stick than he probably deserves. And yeah, just a really great outing. I thought the midfield was great, but I'll obviously get onto that in a sec. And yeah, I think as well I saw the set pieces. We seem to improve a lot in those, and the way we're defending, but also the way we're attacking, doing some nice little tactics, some crosses out to Reece James, hitting it on the volley, some other short corners. I think we're really adapting and, you know, making a lot of different options for us, which is really working well. But that was my reaction to the game, guys. Let me know yours in the comments below. And with that said, let's get into the player ratings for the game. Okay, so like I said in one of my previous rating videos, I am going to try and be a bit more generous, and I do think that if we do win a game and keep a clean sheet, we probably should be seeing everyone in defence get at least a 7. I am going to give that to Edouard Mendy. He really didn't have much to do. He did have to be alert maybe 1 or 2 times. He did catch some crosses, but there was only really one save he had to make, and I still then think the ball was probably going out wide. However, like I said, he had to be alert, he had to do it, and it was another clean sheet for him, so I think he has to get a 7 out of 10. Obviously, the base rating for a player, guys, as you know, is 6. That's when they've just had, a pretty average game on their behalf. But I think with a clean sheet, the goalie has to get a 7. Going into the rest of the defence, Ben Chilwell, I'm going to give it a 7 as well. Maybe obviously would have got higher if he did actually score the goal, but he didn't. I think he did well. He recycled play quite well. I wouldn't say he necessarily created loads, but he was there, he was doing his defensive job, he helped keep the clean sheet, and he is going to get a 7. Also going to give a 7 to Reece James as well. Maybe a bit more of a quiet game from him, but he's still showing why I think really this season he's probably been our most consistent player this season, I think, in a Chelsea shirt. And just defensively, he was solid. He did add going forward as well, but maybe not so many dangerous crosses as we're used to seeing, but still, when you get the 3 points and keep the clean sheet, he's definitely done his job. Rudiger as well is going to get a 7. Solid defensively, made some good clearances, some decent blocks. I think it was a decent outing from him. I'm going to give Zuma a 7.5 just because I think he was the most noticeable out of the defenders in this game. Did win a lot of good aerials, maybe could have scored as well from a corner, and I think he recovered quite well, made some tackles. I think he was just maybe a little bit more noticeable than the other defenders, hence why he's getting that 0.5 boost in his rating. But if I'm going to the midfield, I'll start with the holding player, N'Golo Kante, and he is going to get for me an 8 out of 10. I thought that he was just really good, like winning the ball, really doing some nice controlled passes. I think a lot of people were worried about him in the sort of DM role, as we don't know really what he's like with the ball, and to be honest, the jury is still out, seeing how he will perform against maybe some of the bigger teams who will want to press him a bit more. I think that the Tottenham game coming up next week is going to be a big test for this Chelsea team to actually see where we are compared to the others, but I still do think that he had a great performance and sort of added attacking and defensively, but again just really cleaning things up, making tackles, interceptions. I really think that he's just really found maybe his spot in this team, in this Lampard team, with this role. Going on to the other two midfielders, Mateo Kovacic, I'm going to give a 7 out of 10. Was impressed to see a bit of his more adaptability in this game. He does actually seem to be getting forward a bit more, which we don't necessarily see from Kovacic. We usually see him picking the ball up from deep and sort of getting to that final third area and offloading it, but he is actually trying to get forward more. He still needs to improve on that, because I'm not really filled with confidence when he does have the ball in and around the opponent's box, but it was nice to see that from him. I thought he did well. He got out of some sticky situations good as well, so I think a 7 out of 10 is fair from him. Mason Mount is going to get a 7.5 out of 10. Did get the assist for the own goal technically, so I think that does need to count for something. And again, his pressing is just really good, recycled the play very well. Maybe he didn't have much of an attacking threat. He did scuff a shot towards the end, but he's always improving, and I think giving him more minutes is going to turn him into a great player. Lampard even said it in the press conference that he gets a lot of stick because maybe he's not flashy and does a lot of flicks and tricks, but he's just an engine, really, in midfield, and will just keep going. He's a decent player as well on the ball, maybe a bit underrated in that sense, and I think he did have a good game. Going on to, finally, the front three, I'm actually going to give Hakim Ziyech I'm going to give him a 6.5 out of 10, which might seem a little bit harsh. Maybe some people say it was a 7. He did deliver a good ball into Tammy Abraham, where Abraham forced a very good save from the Darlow, I believe it was, and Ziyech's always dangerous on his left foot, but I do think there was some deliveries which didn't pay off. His corner delivery was not as good, free kicks not as good. I just think maybe it was a little bit of an off game for him, but like I said, we still won, and he wasn't bad by any means, but I think if we didn't win that game, he would have been picked out probably a lot more, so I do think a 6.5 is probably fair to give to him, considering we still did win the game. Considering he's been our man of the match the last 3 games, I think him having an off game now isn't that bad. I'd much rather him get this out the way now than against Tottenham, or at least that's hopefully what will happen anyway. So yeah, 6.5 from him, but I'm not too worried. Going on to Werner, who was on the left, and like I've said plenty of times before, not a massive fan of him on the wing, just because, and I mean, it's not his fault, because I don't think he should really be playing there, but I do think obviously with Pulisic out, it does maybe make a bit more sense if you're choosing between whether you want to play him up front and Hudson-Odoi on the left, or him on the left and Abraham up front. I guess we'll see that maybe change. Maybe against Rennes we'll see Hudson-Odoi play and one of those two go up front, but I do think that he did well. He gets in loads of good positions and makes really good runs. His finishing maybe just wasn't as on point as it should be. He definitely 100% should have scored that goal or that shot against Darlow, which he did put wide. I think he does have to be penalised a bit for that. However, he did get the assist with a really great run, and I mean, it just shows really that Werner keeps trying, he keeps going. No matter if he's having a bad game or a poor game, he's going to keep fighting, and he actually did pay off. So I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 for getting the assist. Probably would have scored lower if he didn't, but I do think it was fairly decent from him. Finally, going on to Tammy Abraham, I believe a player that everyone did maybe or was thinking about giving man of the match. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10, the same as N'Golo Kante, because he did obviously score a goal, the second goal, to really make that cushion and make us comfortable in the game. He did as well have some other good opportunities, got into good positions, good space. I just wouldn't say that he was maybe noticed all the time, or maybe lost the ball a couple of times as well, but his hold-up play was still very good. I think with Newcastle obviously sitting deep, it makes it a bit tougher for someone like him, and he really played really well. I think definitely he's developed a lot from last season to this season. Even though he was great last season, I think in terms of his all-round play, he has developed quite a bit. So I am going to be giving him an 8 out of 10 as well. Everyone on the bench is going to get a 6 out of 10, as they didn't really have loads of opportunities to do stuff. I thought they all looked good when they came on. I thought Hudson-Odoi definitely looked lively when he came on as well. But just, when the game is sort of killed and buried, you don't see maybe the other players in the team pushing forward as much. Which is a shame, but hopefully Hudson-Odoi, we can see him start soon. And so they were going to get a 6. Those are my player ratings. Let me know in the comments below what your guys' ratings are. If I am going to move on to my player of the season point scoring system, I'm not going to give anyone 3 points, just because I don't think anyone stood out loads in this game. It was a very easy, comfortable game against Newcastle. I don't think anyone was challenged that much, and I don't think I saw someone in the game where I just went, wow, they've been absolutely amazing or fantastic. So I'm going to give 1 point to Mason Mount. I think he got the assist for the own goal, and again recycled play really well, maybe because he's got a goal himself. I think he's really just thriving in this number 8 role. It's definitely his best position, and we do need to see him keep playing that. Obviously he's versatile, but if you want to see the best Mason Mount, it does need to be in that number 8 role. I'm going to give 2 players 2 points as well, and as you can probably guess, it is Kante and Tammy Abraham. I think Kante did get man of the match from the Chelsea fans on Twitter, if I'm not mistaken, but I think Abraham was a close second, and to be honest, I think they both did well. I think Kante has just been great in his midfield role so far, winning the ball, offloading the ball, and competing maybe against bigger guys as well in the air. I think that he's just really been absolutely fantastic, and Abraham did get the goal to make the game comfortable, and like I said, his all-round game has really developed so far, so they're both going to get 2 points from me. As you can see on the screen, how the scores are tallying up currently. Still a long way to go in the season, but we are slowly creeping in closer to get maybe a better idea of who the contenders will be when the season does in fact end. But that is going to be it from me, guys. If you did enjoy, like I said, please be sure to leave a like, comment down below your thoughts on the game, maybe your thoughts as well going into the game against Rennes. My preview for that will come up before the game does kick off, so do stay tuned for that. As always, do subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed. I hope you guys have a nice day, and I'll see you next time.